Hello and welcome back to Women's Football Talk, the YouTube channel that brings you all the latest news and stories from around the world of women's football. Now before we get into today's video, make sure you smash that subscribe button and turn on the post notification bell so you never miss a video of ours. So today we're going to do a little bit something different as we are on the international break, and that is to have a look at how the United States could look under EmmaHayes. So back in November, Hayes announced that she was leaving Chelsea at the end of the season to pursue new opportunities outside of club football. Now the big question mark would be, where would that be? It didn't take long for the stories and rumours to come out that she was going to replace Vlatko Andonovski as the potential head coach of the US women's national team, and then that was confirmed. So EmmaHayes obviously knows the United States really well from her time there early on in her managerial career, whether that was a managerial role in 2001 in the W League, and then she obviously helped out with the Iona Gales and the Chicago Red Stars in America as well, after a brief spell back over here in England at Arsenal before heading to Chelsea in 2012. So EmmaHayes knows the United States game, obviously not as recently as it has been, but obviously now with it being a much more developed league and everything, it is going to have changed massively since she was last there. However, with her experience in the WSL over the last decade or so, she knows how to get the best out of players, whether it is changing formation tactically wise or having certain individuals play more minutes than others and getting the best out of everyone at the best times. So it is going to be very interesting to see how EmmaHayes could have her United States side line up. For instance, earlier on this season she has deployed various different tactics for her Chelsea side. In one game they played a 4-2-3-1 formation, in another game they played a 3-4-2-1 formation, and another game they've played a 4-1-4-1 formation. So Hayes has the adaptability to work with what she has at her disposal, and being able to implement different tactics and have Chelsea still doing as well as they have done this season shows her fluidity and experience as a manager, being able to change whether it be a game by game basis or based on a player by player basis. So it is obviously going to be very interesting to see how that incorporates over to the United States level. Now she's also known for her direct and attacking approach with quick movements and the importance of being clinical whenever you get into attacking opportunities, which is why you see Chelsea always at the top of the goal scoring charts in England, and they are continuing that way this season. And with the disposal that she has at the United States level, you wouldn't think that would be a big problem for her to deal with when it comes to looking ahead to her overtaking at the end of the season. So where are the USA currently at? Well, they have played one game in the Gold Cup as of time of recording, where they managed to beat the Dominican Republic by 5-0. Now obviously they're in a bit of a transition year with Vlatko Andonovski leaving at the end of the World Cup, the likes of Megan Rapinoe, Juliet having recently retired from international duty, and they are on the upcoming with some really talented young players on the way through. So it is a bit of a transition period for the United States, and it will be very interesting to see how EmmaHayes gets hold of that when she does take over post the WSL season, or whatever her last game potentially could be. So we're looking at the current team for the USA in the Gold Cup. 11 of the 23 players were in the World Cup squad, and just 8 of them from the 2019 winning team. So it shows that this transition period for the United States is well underway, and it's definitely going to be a very interesting period next year or two as they look to play a part in the 2027 World Cup. Now, even more interesting than as 11 of the 23 were at the World Cup and just 8 of them were from their previous win in the 2019 World Cup, is that there are 7 players in this team that have 10 or less caps. So it shows that there is a bit of changing of the guard, as you may say, in terms of more youthful players coming in. But they're not bad youthful players, they are definitely something to look forward to. And obviously when it comes to looking at who will be the next Alex Morgan, who will be the next Megan Rapinoe, Sam Mewis, whatever it may be, there are definitely key players that you can already write your names out of who could be standout stars. You got Sophia Smith of the Portland Thorns, Trinity Rodman of the Washington Spirit, Alyssa Thompson of Angel City, and Naomi Goma of the San Diego Wave. And then they're all like late 19, 20 odd year olds, and they're already shining regularly when they get played by Twyla Keogor in the current US setup. And then you've obviously got some big names coming through youth level. You've got Olivia Moultrie, who had a fantastic start to her international career and as well in the Gold Cup so far this week. And then reigning NWSL defender of the year, player of the year, in Jenna Niswanger of Gotham FC, who absolutely fantastic rookie season and is going to look like a really bright future. So what will EmmaHayes' United States team look like? It's going to be very, very interesting. Obviously 4-4-3 formation is what they're used to. It is something that we've seen EmmaHayes deploy at times as well, so it's not something that could massively drastically change, but it is going to be something that I think how do the USA, do they stick with that or do they flex and change into something else? It's going to be a very interesting few months, and when EmmaHayes does finally get more directly involved and hands-on, she isn't going to have a problem with squad depth, because some of the players she's got, I mean, Jane Campbell, Alyssa Nair, Casey Murphy, Aubrey Kingsbury are just four of the gatekeepers. Then you look into the defence, you look at the likes of Emily Fox, Naomi Gurner, Tina Davidson, Jenna Niswanger, as we mentioned previously. The midfield options, you look at Ashley Sanchez, Savannah DeMello, Sam Coffey, Corbin Albert, who's a very good player coming through at Paris Saint-Germain at the minute. And then the forward line is, again, something that she doesn't have to worry about. Like we said, with Trinity Rodman, Sophia Smith, Alyssa Thompson, Mallory Swanson, Katerina Macario. Like, it is a very big squad, and depth isn't something that the United States aren't going to have to worry about over the next couple of years. It's just going to be about how the transition does go from some of their more senior players and into the more youthful players in this team. So definitely something to keep an eye on over the next 12 to 18 months. How does that transition go? How many of the players, of the more senior players, end their international careers, and what would that United States team look like in 3 years' time when it comes to the 2027 World Cup? A World Cup where obviously at this minute in time we don't know who's going to be hosting it, but the United States themselves have put in a bid to join to host it. So could we have a home World Cup in that sense for the United States? And how much more pressure would that put on EmmaHayes to get the United States back to their winning side and have the winning ways of the past that we know the United States can have? It is obviously all a lot of thought and speculation that will go into EmmaHayes' role, and it's going to be a very interesting time for her. It's something that she will relish, this big challenge. Obviously, it's probably the biggest job in women's football at this minute. It's the most talked about job. How can the United States get back to their former glory of the World Cup wins and looking as strong as a dominant side? Because over the last year or two under Vlatko and Danovsky, they didn't really look like that. And obviously after that elimination in the World Cup to Sweden, changes are coming now. And EmmaHayes definitely isn't afraid of making bold statements when it comes to team selection or players, and I think it's going to be a very interesting time to be a United States women's national team fan. So plenty to keep your appetite interested for. If you want to read a full article on this, we have done that. Head over to our website womensfootballtalk.substack.com to check out there, and we'll keep you up to date with all the rest of the news and stories from the world of women's football during this international break on our social media pages. So head over to Twitter or X, just type in Women's Football Talk, and the same on Instagram as well. In the meantime, make sure you like and subscribe and turn on the post notification bell so you never miss a video of ours, and we'll see you soon.